Your imposter syndrome is holding you back from the things that God has called you to do. Understand that imposter syndrome is no coincidence. It is a tactic used by the enemy to instill fear and to make you question the word and direction of God. Look at Moses. Moses struggled with the directions that God had given him. He even spent time trying to convince and let God know why he was not the one for the job. While Moses looked at himself as inadequate, God looked at him as a vessel that he could use to bring glory to his name. Despite his record, despite the things he had done in his past, that did not matter to God, because when God called him, he knew exactly who he was. While you're busy seeking perfection in yourself, God is seeking your faith. He's seeking your willingness to trust him despite what you have done, despite what you think disqualifies you, and to allow him to use you as a vessel to bring glory to his name. You were supposed to write that book years ago. You were supposed to start that business years ago, and you keep telling yourself reasons why you aren't ready, why you aren't prepared for it, giving yourself all the excuses to run away from the direction that God has given you a long time ago. Imposter syndrome is a form of pride that shows your lack of faith in God.
You are struggling with the question of whether or not you are enough. Let this be the last day that you feel like you have this imposter syndrome. You are ready. You would not be in this space with an opportunity in front of you if you were not intellectually ready, if you had not had experiences that will allow you to go forward successfully, if you didn't have people in your network that might have already been there and done that. Now, if you're not feeling confident in yourself and somebody has given you an opportunity, until you can grab a hold to your own worth, borrow their confidence in you. Nobody chose you because they thought you were going to fail. Somebody gave you this opportunity because they saw in you somebody who could make rain. So honey, make rain.
Hi, I'm Fee. Welcome back to my channel, where we are a community of women letting go of self-limiting belief and embracing life with confidence and grace. I think a lot of us have faced that feeling of imposter syndrome. And quick definition, imposter syndrome is a persistent feeling of self-doubt and inadequacy, often despite evident success, making one feeling like a fraud in their achievements. I know at one point in my life, I felt like I had imposter syndrome. I don't think I knew the name of that back then, but I have experienced that, and it can be very self-limiting in you pursuing some of the things that you want to do, and just not a good feeling, honestly. And if you're like many women out there that have felt this self-doubt or inadequacy in your position, in your life, or whatever role you're in, stay tuned. How do you overcome imposter syndrome? I don't know if it's something where it's like a disease that you can overcome, but there's certain steps you can take to help you get rid of that spirit of imposter syndrome. The first thing you can do is acknowledge it and name it. Yes, I have that fear. Yes, I have that self-doubt. Why is that though? Do some self-reflection on why it is that you feel like you don't belong or you just don't measure up. Sometimes it may be things that have happened in our past or even currently that have you feeling that, you know what, I don't belong. And the funny thing is, you think that you're alone in feeling that way, and you're really not. A lot of people, especially if you're fresh out of college or in a new role or in a new position, you are probably not the only person that feel that way. And you have to understand that you're not having to be better than anyone. You're just having to be you and do a great job. You don't have to figure out how to one up the next person or be better than someone. You just have to work on just being a better you. You are your own measuring stick. You don't have to compare yourself to other people. Acknowledging that you have those feelings help you to work towards how to deal with those feelings. Next thing you could do is challenge the negative thoughts. You're in a new position. Let's say it's a group of y'all, and you're feeling like, oh, I'm just not good enough. So if you were selected, just like everybody else, you have the degree, just like everyone else, you have the experience, just like everyone else, why is it that you think that you don't measure up?
So it doesn't make sense.
Sometimes we have to challenge the negative thoughts in our heads. You have to replace the negativity that you feel with some positive affirmation. And again, for everything negative that you have to say that brings in that self-doubt, go ahead and replace it with something positive. Saying, oh my gosh, they completed that project in 3 weeks and it took me 5. Well, I completed that project and the results were wonderful. Feed yourself more positive things versus the negative things, and it will help filter out those negative feelings. You have to feed yourself the positive things, and then those negative things will be pushed out. That goes with celebrating your achievements. I think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough grace and we can be our biggest critic. So recognizing our achievements is a major thing. If you have to keep a journal where you can write down all your achievements for the times that you feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to, go ahead and do that, because then you can go back and reflect on that and read on the achievements that you have made. You need to big yourself up sometimes that I am doing amazing. And I don't mean to be arrogant about it. Sometimes you do need to celebrate those small wins, those big wins, every win. Why not? Especially if you work very hard for it. I remember when it was time for evaluation, and I tell you what, I would barely have anything but like one sheet. And I had a coworker, she had like a binder, and I was like, oh shoot. She explained to me how you have to show your achievement and what you've been doing throughout the whole year. And when I saw it, I thought it was wonderful. And it wasn't her being arrogant, but she was showing what it is she's been working on and her achievements, and even things that she would like to improve on. And so I kind of followed through with that. From that example, I learned, okay, let me write down things that I've been a part of, the outcome of those things, the things I assisted in. Every one of those things, I started to write them down, because towards the end of the year, I'm not going to remember any of that stuff, because you mostly remember the stuff that you didn't do versus all the good things that you did do. So I would start writing some of those things down, so I knew around that time I can, gather all the stuff that I have and put them together. Celebrate those achievements, because by the end of the year, I didn't realize, oh, okay, I did this. And it's like, okay, nice to see, because when you're in it, you don't really think about it. So make sure that you are celebrating those wins and even writing them down, because most of the time you forget them. Seek support and mentorship. Now, we cannot solely depend on someone else to tell us, oh, you're doing great. Of course, this is meant for you. But it's good to have a mentor. It's good to have that support, especially if you're in a role where you're like the newbie or the novice. It's good to have someone with more experience to help to mentor you. Mentorship helps give you that support, and then you actually realize that some of the same feelings you have, they have had in the past as well when they first started. When you really take the time to talk to people, especially those that are in similar situations, similar roles as you realize your feelings are not unique. You realize that a lot of people go through what you've been going through, and they feel the same way that you do. And those people can tell you that, it just took time for it to go away. They have to stay encouraged and talk it out sometime. Having the support or having a mentor is great in getting rid of that imposter syndrome spirit. I think it also helps you to be more confident in yourself. Overcoming imposter syndrome is like a journey, like everything. And like any journey, you're gonna have some smooth roads, some rough ones. You just have to keep on going and understand that mistakes will happen. And honestly, you're just gonna have to learn from those mistakes. Every mistake is like a learning opportunity, which will fuel your personal growth. Don't be afraid of that. We all make mistakes. No one is perfect. Adapt a mindset where you are pursuing progress over perfection. So are you a fraud? No. You are not the only person that felt this way. And remember, this is a journey. And as long as you take some small actionable steps towards self-improvement, you will get over that. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? How did you move away from that? I would love to hear it in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you want more personal development or self-improvement content like this, please like and subscribe. Bye.